Well, I guess up next, well, what is up next, Ashton? Because I always get these confused, and I'd really rather not this week. It's
Up next, John, is our Raw request.
okay.
Remember,
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, Raw
yeah,
request.
30-second hot seat is always last.
Because you love to torment me with that the most.
No,
All
because
right,
it's our main event. That's our best segment.
so Raw request. You know, it's hard because I did like this Raw, but there are still. You know what? You know what? Here's my Raw request. I was gonna say something with Hulk Hogan, but you know what? He's not even consistent with every Raw, so it wouldn't even fit the segment. So I feel like this would actually fit better. Get a little bit more creative with your openings, and I'm not even just saying opening with the Authority. I'm saying more generally opening up with some long-winded promo. Like, why
Well, I
couldn't you
mean,
just?
for what it's worth, they did let Bray Wyatt versus Chris Jericho open a show a couple weeks ago.
That is true. Damn. Yeah, you're right. I just wish we could see more of that, you know? I think that's really what I'm
So
getting.
really, it's not necessarily just be more creative. It's be creative more often.
Yeah, there you go. Because we know you have creative
So
capabilities.
pretty much just what I said 2 weeks ago. Stop not trying.
Yeah, again, I mean, let me see if I can come up with something else, because that really sucks when you get right down to it. Again, I was going to say something about Hulk Hogan, but again, he's not even on every Raw, so that won't fit.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, do they really just suck that bad that I just have to come out and say that? I mean, I don't think so, but let me think. You know what? No, that's not going to work either. Ask, you know what? Can you do yours first so I get a little bit more time to think? I rarely ever do that, but I don't want to just take the cheap way out. So, do you have a Raw request that you would like to make?
Well, kind of. I kind of have a Raw request. My Raw request is I want the WWE to have at least one segment on every show that is completely unscripted, like what the Dean Ambrose segment was tonight. That between the "oh God, they sent the cruiserweight division after me" line to "are you guys even real security? I could have sworn you were rosebuds last week." There is no way any of that was scripted because it was breaking the fourth wall. So even if you do, if that was scripted, then script more stuff like that. And if it was unscripted, then have more unscripted stuff because that stuff was brilliant.
That was really good. All right, I have a Raw request. It's significantly weaker than yours. I really love yours, and I hate you for coming up with it. But
And I came up with that on the spot, man. Talk about clutch.
oh, yeah, God, you're the worst. Um, no, I'm gonna say, you know what? I hope that tonight that we see a more prominent role for Tyson Kidd on main TV going forward, and I'd love to see it culminating in him just telling Natalia off and going his own way,
Oh, they need a
because
divorce so bad.
they do, and I would love for it to be an on-screen divorce. I would love if
I want a
Tyson
real
Kidd,
divorce. They're awful.
I would want Tyson Kidd to just verbally dress down Natalia, kind of like Edge
Verbally
did.
abuse his wife in public.
Well, yeah, pretty much like Edge did with Vicky Guerrero when he realized that she no longer had any power,
Yeah.
and he just like totally railed against her, and the crowd ate it up. And then he's like, "I want a divorce," and then Vicky's like, "No!" And she just breaks down in hysterics.
You know what, dude? I love the idea, but unfortunately, Natalia is nowhere near charismatic enough to pull that kind of thing off.
She's not, but I think the point I'm trying to get at is I really feel like Tyson Kidd has improved as a heel, and I think it's time to give him one more shot on the main roster here. It may seem like
So are you
really.
saying you want Tyson Kidd to have one more match?
Yes, I want Tyson Kidd to have one more match. Are you happy? I feel like it may be somewhat of a bad time because I'm constantly talking about the current saturation and the landscape and just all the star power and where could Tyson Kidd fit. But you know what? I mean, if Dolph is going to be able to have this belt for a while, I'd love to see maybe even one match. It doesn't even have to be for the title. Tyson Kidd versus Dolph Ziggler. I feel like those two guys could own it. Oh my God, just thinking about it, I want to buy it for $9.99. So yeah, I hope this is the start of Tyson Kidd getting a more prominent place on Raw because I feel like his NXT work has warranted him another shot at the main roster. So
Yeah, and
that's
you
my
need
Raw
to
request.
reward stuff like that because it's like people put in the work and then you need to show them that putting in the work is something that is going to get you something that you want. Otherwise, it's like you need to reward when people do stuff like that, because otherwise there's no incentive to do it.
Well, precisely, Ashton. I would love to see when you've got the next batch of recruits coming into the developmental center, like they show Tyson Kidd, even if it's just him competing. He doesn't have to do anything momentous, but show his progression on NXT, and then like cut, splice, whatever, and show like footage from Raws and SmackDowns a few months after, and be like, see, that's what happens when you put in the time and effort. I completely agree with you. You know, Tyson Kidd can be a model of, see, what you're doing here has a purpose, and that's getting here. So I definitely want to see him back. Hell, if he stays this consistent with his heel delivery, I could start championing seeing him in like bigger mid-card feuds, and hell, even gimmicky matches like Money in the Bank and stuff like that. I think.
And you know
Tyson
what's
Kidd,
really great, dude, that I just thought of?
what's that?
When Tyson Kidd first showed up on NXT, what was the first thing he said?
What was the first thing he? Oh, what wasn't his whole thing about he wanted to get on NXT because he knows that NXT is a launching pad to get back on Raw and SmackDown?
Yeah,
So yeah, Tyson,
I'd say it worked out pretty freaking well, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think Jim Ross consistently says he feels like Tyson Kidd is one of the most underutilized guys in WWE. I feel like I made the Christian comparison earlier for Alicia Fox. I have no delusions of grandeur for Tyson Kidd, but I could see him as that very dependable hand for feuds against Dolph Ziggler, or hell, maybe a Dean Ambrose for filler, or just anybody. Anybody. And I'm just glad to see Tyson Kidd.
Nobody's filler.
I understand, but yeah, Tyson's very dependable, and I'm very happy to see him in this spot. So
it's really nice to see him getting a spot like this. And you know what? I agree. I completely sign on to your Raw request. I am still worried that they are only using this as a Total Diva storyline and not actually using it to progress a wrestling storyline.
Right.
So there's that.
All right. So with that said, it's my most favorite segment of the show. It's time for 30-second hot seat.
Okay. So what do you got for me?
What do I got for you? What do you got for me? You're the one who always asks the questions.
Well, yeah, but we're going to be like what you want the WWE to be, and we're going to be creative, and we're going to change it up.
So wait a minute. For the first time and maybe only time ever, you're giving me the power?
I'm giving you the power.
Oh, sweet buttercakes. I can't waste this. Okay.
And I was just getting ready to say, if you use it wisely, I might give it to you again.
Okay, Ashton, I've got one for you, and I'm going to take this completely seriously. I remember at the beginning, like the opening match, you like immediately jumped out of your seat, and you're like, this is how they're going to reintroduce Wade Barrett. Or again, Bad News Barrett. I don't know why I'm back on this thing of calling him Wade. He's Bad News Barrett. And I said, no, it's going to be Dolph, Miz, and Cesaro. And you're like, you're right. So clearly, like most of us, I'm sure you're anticipating the return of Bad News Barrett. So because I love your fantasy booking, and I'm not going to be so harsh on you for the 30 seconds, I just want in the most simplistic way possible, how would you introduce Bad News Barrett? And if you feel like that's too complex for 30 seconds, I'll give you the alternative question of, who do you think the Intercontinental Champion should be that'll await Bad News Barrett on his return? And how many matches would you have between those two before Barrett gets the championship back? Like, how would you have the feud play out? And your 30 seconds starts, I'm going to say now.
Okay, so as far as how I would reintroduce him, just like the way I thought that they would reintroduce him tonight, have a random Intercontinental Champion multi-man match, maybe even beat the clock, like a gauntlet style match where you have to run through a few people, and I would have him get debut or, well, reintroduced in that way. Maybe even like a battle royal. Not the Royal Rumble, though, because I think he should debut or return before then, if he can. So I would have him do that. And as far as who, I honestly think that if Dolph Ziggler's turning heel, he might be the perfect one for Barrett to feud with over the title, because Ziggler's been showing these heel tendencies lately. So either Ziggler or Cesaro, one of those two guys.
You did go over your 30 seconds, but I just love hearing you, construct as always. I really like that answer. Yeah, I agree with you. If they're going to go the heel tendencies with Dolph, I think those two could have quite the matchups, because the beautiful thing is, one, Dolph sells like crazy, so he could be like a great heel, and I know Dolph is probably so tired of this comparison himself, but when Mr. Perfect was a heel and Intercontinental Champion, he bumped around for everybody, and I could see him just bumping all over the place for Bad News Barrett.
Yeah.
And, just getting away by the skin of his teeth with the title. So I agree with you. That's actually a very ideal direction. And, of course, and I hate to be that guy, but I know that would probably be WWE's mindset. If it's Cesaro, you can do the whole Swiss versus England, that whole European flavor kind of thing.
No.
With those
No.
two.
No. That is generic and stereotype and cookie cutter. No.
But that's exactly what WWE would do.
Which is why I'm saying no.
Well, there you go. So I like both of your answers, even if you have bigger creative plans for things like, say, Bad News Barrett and Cesaro. So great stuff all around, and I liked how you would reintroduce Barrett as well. I agree with that. It's got to be something spontaneous, even if not a match, maybe interrupting the champion just out of nowhere and delivering bad news, just something with spontaneity.
Yeah, they can't. I don't want them to be like, oh, Bad News Barrett's returning to action next week. That would be so stupid. It needs to be special.
It does. It does need to be special. So, great job on that. And it was actually quite fun having the power for a change. I hope that question was good enough for you that I may be able to have it on a future episode.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little long-winded, but then again, so are some of mine, so I shouldn't complain.
Plus, it was my first time out. I'll get better if I get this opportunity more. So, yeah.
I love how we're treating this like a job interview.
Yeah, I know, right? I would like to start at $8.25 an hour. So, but yeah,
wow,
that was a lot of fun.
You're really aiming for the middle.
Yeah, that's kind of how I do. That's what I do. So, yeah. With that said, this well, you have no closing remarks, right?
No, I'm glad that I finally got my 30-second hot seat cherry broken though, so that was nice.
I know. I'm so proud that I was the man to do it. I feel.
Oh God, John, don't make it even more awesome.
I just did. So, with that said, this has been Raw. This has been TwitWow, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. Discuss on Pweetoff. What did you think of Raw? What have you thought of Dean Ambrose's performances lately? Talk back to us. You know where to find us.
You might as well be asking a rhetorical question at this point.
True. And with that said, we will see you again for our NXT review, where it is championships galore as we have 2 title matches, Bayley versus Charlotte the sequel, and in a last chance match, Tyson Kidd versus Adrian Neville, where if Tyson Kidd loses, he cannot get another NXT World Championship shot as long as Adrian Neville is champion. We'll see you there, guys.
Boy, that was a mouthful.
Yeah.
All right, see you guys.